Hello there everyone, I'm Sarah, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought what we do with my cup of tea in meow mug, sorry, is talk about me, talk about my life, talk about writing, I guess. We're going to talk about some things that I wish I'd known when I started writing, things that I think all new writers should know, things I think current writers should know or tend to forget. I guess I'll be rambling a lot in this video because I don't have a script. Have fun with that. Now I personally have been writing for like 19 years, which is a long ass time. I first started when I was 14 years old, and it was sort of just like a hobby at first, like, oh, this is fun, writing, yay, because I was very creative back then. I had a massive imagination and it was something for me to do because I'm not social, like I don't talk to people. I did some fan fiction, that's right. I think every author, every writer has done fan fiction or read fan fiction at least some point in their writing journey, and I suppose that was my first real taste of writing a story, writing for other people, writing for the validation and the comments and the well done, you did a great job, which 19 years ago, guys, you would get flooded with comments. That is not the case nowadays at all, but that's a story for another video. I started writing novels with the intent of being published when I was around 17 years old, 17. I recently found those novels which I read, linked up in the corner there. I had a bunch of ideas which I started writing, didn't finish, moved on to the next idea, started writing that, didn't finish it, moved on to the next. I was just full of ideas, but I didn't have the discipline or the drive, I guess, or the motive to actually finish writing them. Also partly because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I've had works in progress come and go, always the basics, never a full idea, maybe a few chapters before I gave up on it. And sort of over the years I've sort of come to realise and understand why I never finished those ideas, why they never went anywhere. And there's so many things that I wish I had known when I started writing, because it's not like there's a rule book for you to follow or anything like that. It's basically a do it and then learn as you go, and there are a million different things to learn, there's a million different ways to learn, and not all of those million things, you know, mean anything to every single writer out there, because we're all different. And I think it's such a I'll see, Lethologica has struck again. It's such a wide range of subjects, of advice, of things to do, things not to do. There's so many varying opinions that it's sort of difficult to pinpoint what you should and should not do. And learning as you go is super difficult, and it's one of the reasons I did not write more when I was younger, because I didn't fully understand or know, or I didn't know that I needed to know everything that I do now. So the things that I wish I had known when I first started writing. Number one is quantity, not quality. I very, very clearly remember, and I most clearly remember with Project Guild and with Nephilim, getting stuck. And I mean super stuck. I would call it writer's block back in the day, which it's not, because writer's block doesn't exist. So I wouldn't know where to go. The sentences weren't sounding correct. I didn't like how they were worded. I didn't like what I'd written. I would self-edit as I went along, because it's got to be perfect. It's a book. It's the book I'm writing. And it took me until 2015 to sort of come to terms with and realise that it's not about the quality of your work, not at first. It's about getting the work done. And that was something really weird to wrap my head around, because back then, like, I thought you would write a book, you would send it off to a publisher, and then they would like it or not like it. Right? That was my limited knowledge when I was 17 years old, because I never looked into it. I never knew I needed to look into it. But obviously now, it's not just writing a novel and sending it off and yay, you're published. Like, come on. It's writing the first draft and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting until you want to pull your hair out. And then it's querying it, and then it's agents and edits and maybe representation, and then it's sending off to... It's a whole circus that a lot of people don't know about, a lot of people don't understand. So when people sort of go, oh, I'm going to write a book, it sounds easy. That was me at 17 years old. It's easy. It's not easy. And focusing on the quality over actually getting the words written was something that really held me back. Which leads me into number 2 of things I'd wish I'd known when I started writing. The first draft does not matter at all. At all. It matters. The quality of it does not matter. It does not. I was writing my first drafts. They had to be perfect. They had to be worded perfectly. They had to make sense and all of this. And focusing on that, focusing on trying to make my first draft be the only draft, be the best it could be, did not help me, because that was me in my own little bubble and didn't force me to look outside and actually figure out what was wrong. I mean, 17, back when I was 17, we didn't have this internet. We didn't have social media. We didn't have sort of like the unlimited resources that is Google or anything like that. I mean, the internet has basically just started. That makes me sound so old. But yeah, we had dial-up, guys. You couldn't use the phone and the internet at the same time. That's how I grew up, with no internet and then dial-up with that stupid noise. So I couldn't just hop on the computer and type in, how do I get over writer's block, or how do I do this, or how do I do that? Like, I didn't have that information, and I didn't know, even if there were writing books at that time. I'm not going to look up and check. There probably were, but I didn't know there were resource books for writing. I thought it was as simple as write a book. It took me NaNoWriMo 2015 when I finished writing Nephilim, which is what sort of pushed me out of the mindset of quality over quantity. It sort of pushed me out of the mindset that first drafts have to be perfect, because that's when I first started figuring out, oh, you've got to revise your book, you've got to edit your book after you've written it to make it sound better. And I was like, that makes sense actually. So that's when that first clicked for me. But having that knowledge beforehand when I started writing, knowing I had to do these things, would have sort of meant I wasn't spending 2, 3, 4 years actually writing the first draft. Now I can bust it out in 3 months if I needed to, because who the hell cares what crap it sounds like? You're gonna rewrite it and make it better anyway. You just need the foundation. So that's something really important that I think every writer needs to know and understand. And that first draft, no, don't worry about making it sound good, just worry about getting it down and make it sound good later. Number 3, do not worry about originality, because originality and uniqueness does not exist in the world, especially in media, especially in books and TV and movies. Like, someone will have already done that sort of plot, someone would have already done that sort of idea with those sorts of characters and those sorts of stakes, and the only thing that makes it different is your spin and your twist on it. Now, I was very hung up when I was younger about making a story that was original, that no one else had heard of, that was different from all of the others. And even though ideas come to my head like really easily, it's forming those ideas into something that I liked, that did not sound like this book, that did not sound like that TV show. sort of held me back with writing them, and which is probably why I spun through so many ideas when I was younger, because it was too much like this book, it was too much like that novel. And I think it's something new writers worry about all the time, that their book is going to be called out as being too similar to another book, or oh yeah, it's just another version of this book. There's a difference between being inspired by someone's work and plagiarizing someone's work. Nephilim, for example, as was pointed out by one of my betas this year actually, which is something I knew because I read the books, has a similar premise to the Shadowhunter series. Again, I don't actually know the name of the first book. It's the City something something bone something blood something, I don't know. So it's the Shadowhunter series. It's got a similar premise. It's got a girl finding out she's a Nephilim, which is half angel, and fighting demons, which is the basic premise of the Shadowhunter series. But there are twists to mine and differences in the plot to mine which make it different from that first novel. So was I inspired by the Shadowhunter series? You know what, I actually wasn't, because I started writing Nephilim before I'd even heard of the Shadowhunter series. It was only after I read it that I realised, oh, they're actually quite similar, which is why then I tried to make it as different as possible, which is when I took out all the romance. But it's not a bad thing, because people who like the Shadowhunter series, guys, you're gonna like Nephilim, maybe, perhaps. You know, that's how books get recommended, and that's what makes people pick up other books, because they are similar to books that they have already read. So don't worry about your story sounding too much like or reminding you of another book, because as long as you make it different, as long as you put your own spin on it and don't copy like plot points and characters and stuff word for word, you're going to be fine, and it's not going to be a problem. So please don't worry about being original, because you can't be original. You can't. Number 4, you do not have to write chronologically. Chronologically, the bane of my existence. So when I first started writing, like, I would write chronologically. I'd write this chapter, then this chapter, then this chapter, as we went along, because chapter 1 was followed by chapter 2, then by chapter 3. So if I got stuck on chapter 3, I'd be stuck on chapter 3 for ages, even if I wanted to write. I was like, no, but I can't write number 3, even though I was like desperate to write chapter 4. No, you don't have to write in order. You can write whatever chapter you want to, and you can write whatever scene you want to, in whatever order that you want to write. If you want to start with the ending and write the ending first, write the ending first. I might do that one day, actually. Obviously you might have plot issues and you might have character development issues once you finish the first draft, but you know, it doesn't matter if the first draft is perfect. You fix it later. Realising and then being able to write everything out of order, writing scene number 35 if I was stuck on scene 22, sort of stopped me having that writer's block, and it kept me writing, and then I would go back after I'd finished the few chapters I wanted to write, and usually I'd then be able to write chapter in the past, because you know, I'd done some work in the future. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5. Number 5, there is no time limit. There is no time limit. There is no time limit to you writing your first draft. There is no time limit for you to become an author. You're not going to hit 30 and then they're going to be like, sorry, doors are closed, you can't be an author anymore, you are past the age of publication. It doesn't work that way. When I was younger, I would always be like, I'm going to be published before I'm 20. I'm going to be published before I'm 25. I'm going to be published before I'm 30. I sit here and say now I'm going to be published before I'm 35, because I'm now past all the other ages. But there really is no time limit at all. You can be finished writing at any age. You can take as long as you need to write a novel. You can be published at any age whatsoever. You don't need to rush it. You can take as long as you need. You can take as long as you want. So don't think the clock is ticking on your time to be published or anything like that, because it really does not matter. Number 6, I had no idea how difficult it was going to be. I really didn't, and that's I suppose the naivety of being a new writer. You don't understand how difficult it's going to be. I mean, you can start thinking, oh, I'm going to write a book because I have such good ideas, and it's just writing words on a page. And you can sort of hear the horror stories of all the other writers out there struggling with what they're doing, but then you think, oh, but that won't be me. I had no idea going in how difficult it would be to write the book, how difficult it would be to get the ideas down, how difficult it would be to make the plot make sense, how difficult it would be to organise the plot and the points and do character arcs and make everything sound realistic and genuine. And I had no idea writing dialogue was difficult. I had no idea that doing it in a monologue was difficult, or writing setting was difficult, or creating tension or conflict was difficult. I had no idea that you had to friggin' revise your book. And I didn't realise how difficult that was going to be, and how in depth you have to go. And I've heard the horror stories about how difficult it is querying and writing the query letter and the synopsis and getting an agent and getting published. And I sort of have an idea of how difficult it's going to be, but I don't have any idea of how difficult it's going to be until I actually do it. And I think that puts a lot of people off when they start writing and they can't finish the book. They don't have the ideas, they can't get the ideas, the inspiration or the motivation to do their work, and they sort of give up on their novels. Like, everyone has a novel in them, and everyone has someone's favourite novel in them, and it is one of the hardest things in the world to actually pull it out and make it sound good and get it published. And would I have not been a writer if I'd have known how difficult it was in the first place? Probably not. I would still be a writer, but I'd just be more aware of how much work I would have to put into it. And maybe if I'd have started putting the work into it when I was younger, I wouldn't sort of have this casual mindset that I sort of still have regarding the fact that I procrastinate more than I actually write. And sort of have in my head, it's fine, I'll get published. Like, no, do the work and you'll get published. Don't sit there and procrastinate and get published. You do the work and get published. And that's the mindset that I just can't seem to get myself out of, which is, again, coming from the fact that I didn't realise how difficult this was going to be when I first started. And it's never my intention to scare anyone off of writing. Writing is one of the best things that I've ever done. It's so fun, it's challenging and everything, but I suppose the best things in life are a challenge. It's not the writing way to have a rule book or a set of guidelines or a set of things that you need to do, because like I said, there's too much to cover, there's too many opinions, and there's too many different ways of doing things. So I think if you do want to be a writer, if you are a writer, those are the 6 things I wish I had known when I started writing. If I had, I think I would probably be in a better place than I am now regarding how I write and what I do. You know, I feel like I would have a better routine, I would have a better procedure for writing the first draft, for outlining, for plotting and all of these things, because I didn't even know that lot existed either. To be fair, I was a pantser back when I first started. Now I'm sort of a planner-ish type of person, and obviously there's nothing I can do about it now except the fact that I didn't know those things, and sort of accept the fact that I kept going regardless. Because 19 years as a writer isn't anything to scoff at. Like, I take that, even though I haven't achieved anything, you know, in sort of regards to published or self-published or anything like that, I still think it's a massive achievement that I have been writing for so long, and I have sort of been putting in my time and, you know, upping my skill and all of this. And what I know now is only going to make me better. It's only going to make me stronger. And I hope that by researching and knowing these things before you start or as you start is sort of going to help you guys as you do your writing. Especially you teen writers, because there's a frick hell ton of you. Like, all of you lot are so young. Are there any things on this list that you agree with? Did you have trouble with any of these when you first started writing? What is it that you wish you had known when you first started writing? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Good thoughts and happy writing.